People who are hard to manipulate aren't smarter than everyone else, and they aren't naturally suspicious of people. They just quietly do 10 very specific, very unremarkable things every single day, and today I'm going to show you exactly what those things are. Welcome back, let's get started. Real manipulation rarely looks like a villain twirling a mustache. It's a guilty tone of voice, a perfectly timed compliment right before a favor, a conversation that somehow always ends with you apologizing even when you didn't do anything wrong. Manipulators aren't looking for weak people. They're looking for predictable people whose reactions they can already guess before they open their mouth. A manipulator is essentially running a small experiment every time they talk to someone. And if a tactic works once, they'll quietly use it again. So the goal isn't to become paranoid or cold. It's to become unpredictable in exactly the right ways. Here are the 10 habits that do that. Habit number 1, they pause before responding. Someone says, "I guess you just don't care about spending time with me anymore." A predictable target panics and launches into rapid excuses. People who are hard to manipulate simply take a beat, sometimes 2 or 3 seconds, before saying a single word. That pause signals you're thinking for yourself instead of reacting on command. Habit number 2,
Here is the data. But is the timing right?
they ask, "Why are you telling me this right now?" Manipulation almost always has timing built into it. A backhanded comment right before your interview, a guilt trip the night before your trip. Noticing not just what's said, but why it's said at this exact moment, forces the timing into the light, and manipulation can't survive being pointed out directly. Habit number 3, they don't explain themselves to people who haven't earned it. Constantly justifying your decisions to someone is a subtle way of handing them your decision-making power. People hard to manipulate give close, trusted people context, and everyone else a calm, "I can't help with that." No follow-up required. Remove the need to be understood, and a manipulator's leverage disappears. Habit number 4, they separate the message from the mood. When someone raises their voice or gets suddenly cold, most people rush to manage that reaction. People who resist manipulation mentally set the performance aside and ask, setting the tone aside, is what they're asking for even reasonable? Most manipulation relies entirely on emotional noise distracting you from an unreasonable request hiding underneath it. Habit number 5, they notice flattery that arrives right before a request. A genuine compliment shows up with nothing attached. A manipulative one shows up as a setup. "You're always so generous, which is why I wanted to ask you something." People hard to manipulate notice that gap and respond to the actual request on its own merits, unmoved by the praise beside it. Habit number 6, they refuse to make big decisions while emotionally flooded. Manipulators love urgency because urgency short-circuits careful thinking. "I need an answer right now. If you don't decide today, the offer's gone." People hard to manipulate have one policy. If a decision feels heavy and someone's pushing for an instant answer, the answer is always, "I'll get back to you." That single sentence, repeated as many times as necessary, destroys the entire mechanism. Urgency depends on. Habit number 7, they track patterns, not incidents. One broken promise alone seems like a small slip. 5 of them across 5 months tell a completely different story than anyone told alone. People hard to manipulate quietly keep score, not out of bitterness, but clarity. So the 5th incident never gets treated like it's the first. Habit number 8, they let other people feel uncomfortable feelings. Manipulators sulk or go cold, expecting you to rush in and repair their mood by giving them what they wanted. People hard to manipulate can tolerate someone else's disappointment without immediately fixing it. Someone else's uncomfortable emotion isn't automatically your emergency to solve. Habit number 9, they check their own reaction, not just the other person's argument. Sometimes something feels slightly off even when the logic sounds airtight. People hard to manipulate treat that quiet unease as real data worth listening to instead of talking themselves out of it with reasoning alone. Habit number 10, they're willing to be temporarily disliked. This is the habit that makes every other one possible. Manipulation only works on people with an urgent need to be liked in every single moment. People hard to manipulate have made peace with someone being annoyed with them for a few minutes, or a few days, in exchange for protecting their own boundaries and peace of mind. The moment you stop needing someone's immediate approval, manipulation runs out of fuel. So here's what all 10 have in common. None of these people are cold or suspicious of everyone around them. What they actually have is a strong, settled relationship with themselves. They know what they believe and what they'll tolerate, and they don't need external validation to confirm it in real time. Manipulation doesn't fail because someone is guarded. It fails because someone is too internally steady to be moved by pressure that isn't grounded in anything real. Psychologists call this a strong internal locus of control, believing your worth comes from inside you, not from how one person reacts to you in a given moment. If you already do 3 or 4 of these naturally, that's not coldness. That's self respect quietly doing its job. And if you're missing a few, every single one of these is learnable, starting from wherever you're standing right now. So tell me, which one of these do you already have without realizing it, and which one do you need to build the most? Drop your number in the comments below. If this helped you recognize a pattern in your own life, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Goodbye, and see you next time.